Hey fellow beaders, welcome to Bead Stash Sunday. So this is my design for today. We are using hopefully beads that you already have in your stash. I've got some 4mm pearls and some 3x4 rondelles. These beads are all interchangeable, so you can use a different type of round, fire polish, bicone, whatever you've got. In total, I used 160 beads for my bracelet. My bracelet is 6 inches, so you're going to have to adjust according to whatever length you need. And so it's 100 pearls is what I used and 60 of the rondelles. Basically, you could also just use 3mm beads or even 6mm beads. The beads should all be about the same size. So you can also mix and match, like this is 4mm and this is 3x4. So you can mix and match like that too. But you got to make sure that you're consistent with how you're doing that. If you're going to use the same type of bead, so for example, if you use all pearls, make sure you use 2 different colors. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard to follow the pattern here. One last thing is that we start off by making, this is essentially 3 rows here. So we start off making the center row, and one of the things that I forgot to mention while I was filming that part was that you make the desired length and then you make 1 extra additional set of boxes. Because what happens is that this whole thing will shrink up. So you want to make sure that your bracelet as you're working doesn't become too short for you. So go ahead and make sure you make an additional link. And also we're starting with a big box. You want to end with a big box. So it's a big box, a little box, big box, little box. That's the pattern that we're going to be making. And you'll see as I show you in the next steps. But just to bear that in mind, as I was filming this, I forgot to mention that later in the video, because I film the actual beading part first, and then I film this intro part at the end. This is why I'm telling you now. Anyway, as I said, the number of beads, you're also going to need some 11/0 beads for the loops here at the end. Clasp of your choice, beading needle and thread. 4 to 6 pound fireline is sufficient. You're going to need, you're most definitely going to need to add thread. So I would say start with whatever amount of thread is comfortable to work with. So for me, it's an arm span. If it's more or less for you, you sort of figure that out for yourself. And then you start from there, and then you add thread. And I showed you how to add thread in the last tutorial. So you guys know how to add thread and you know how to tie off. All right, guys, I hope you enjoy the tutorial. Let's get started. To begin with, you are going to pick up a pearl and you're going to center it on your thread. Then on each needle, you're going to pick up 1 rondelle, 1 pearl, 1 rondelle, and the same thing on the other needle. So 1 rondelle, 1 pearl, and 1 rondelle. And we're going to bring these down to the center, just like that. So basically you got them all in alternating order. And then you're going to pick up a pearl with one of these needles. So clearly, make sure, pick up the pearl through with 1 needle, push it down, and then take your other needle and cross through the pearl in the opposite direction. And then bring it down to the center. And that's what you should get. Just like that. So now what you're going to do is you're going to pick up pearls, 1 pearl on each needle. Bring those down, and then you're going to pick up another pearl and we're going to cross. So it goes through 1 needle and then it goes through the other. And just bring all that down. And that's what you should get. And so now we're going to repeat the first part again. So we've already got our pearl there in the center. So with one needle, you want to pick up your rondelle, pearl, and rondelle, just like that. Bringing it down. And then with my other needle here, and I'm making sure that I'm pulling everything tight. You're going to pick up another rondelle, pearl, and rondelle. Bring that down. Just like that. And then we're going to cross with a pearl again. So you just pick up a pearl. So I went through one, and you're going in the opposite direction. So with the first needle, I went from left to right. Now with the second needle, I'm going from right to left. So, and that's how you know that you've crossed through with both needles. And there you go. We're repeating our pattern. So now we're going to make the small box. So basically this is a big box and a small box. So the big box contains the rondelles and the little box contains just pearls. So we made a big box, a little box. This is the big box. And now we're making our little box. So you pick up a pearl on each needle, send those down. Then we pick up one pearl, goes from left to right and then right to left. And this doesn't matter which order you do this in. So I'm doing it this way because I'm left-handed. And if you're right-handed, you're going to be probably doing it in the other direction. So you'll probably go from right to left and left to right. So I'm just bringing everything down and there you go. So what you're going to do is you're going to continue repeating this until you get the desired length. So just think about the bracelet, and you'll probably want to keep in mind about 1/2 inch for a clasp. Just depends on the kind of clasp you're using. But go ahead and make the desired length you need, and then I will show you the next step. So once you've made the desired length of your bracelet here, and this is what you should have. So here's my whole bracelet. And the one thing you do want to make sure is that we started with the big box here, so you want to end with the big box. So you don't want to end with the little box, because that you'll lose sort of the symmetry of the bracelet and won't be even. And we want our bracelet to be even. Okay, so you have your thread going out of the pearl here. So what we're going to do is pick up 4 11/0 beads, bring them down on one side, and then repeat that on the other needle. You're going to pick up 4 with the other needle, bring that down, just like this. Then, all right, clearly I can't pick that up. Okay. All right, pick up 1 11/0, just one, bring it through your first needle, and then we're going to cross it with the other needle. Oh, sorry if I got out of range there, but basically we're just crossing. Bring that down, and we're going to basically we've made a loop for our clasp. So now take one needle. So I'm taking my left needle, I'm exiting out of this thread here, and I'm going to just go through all 4 of these 11/0s on this side and then through the pearl, and that's it. I'm not going to do anything else. And I'm going to put this aside. Then I'm going to take this other needle and I'm going to go through these 4 and go through those 4 11/0s and then through the pearl from this direction here. And basically what we've done here is reinforce our beads, and I'm trying to remove any slack in any of the threads here. So you definitely want to make sure there's no slack. So I tightened everything up here, and we reinforce that. Okay, so now it's time to put away one of our needles. So I'm going to go ahead and work. I'm going to put away the right needle, and I'm going to work from the left side. Shift everything. So what we're going to do is we're coming out of this purl here. You're going to be exiting out of this purl. And so the next step is to go into the rondelle, the purl, and then into the purl on the little box here, and then into just the first rondelle in the next box over. And then you are going to pick up a purl, a rondelle, another purl, a rondelle, and a purl. So you want 3 pearls and 2 rondelles. And we are going to go back through the rondelle here, the purl, and this other rondelle. And that's what you're going to get. Then go ahead and go through this next purl. Make sure you're pulling tight, and you're going to pick up 2 pearls. And you're going to go through this purl and this purl. So let me pick it up. And what we're doing is making our little box. Just like this. And now to continue, we're going to do is pick up a rondelle, or we're going through the rondelle, the purl, and the rondelle up here. So here's where we're at. So now you're going to pick up a purl, a rondelle, a purl, and a rondelle. In this case, you're not going to pick up a third purl like we did here because we have one already in place. So we're going to go through this purl, the rondelle here, and the next purl and the rondelle up here. So, and that's what you get. So you see it's got big box, little box, big box. And now you guessed it, we're going to make a little box. So now you go through the purl. So this time it's going to be 2 pearls. All right, so can you guys figure out what the next step is? So we're out of this purl. So our next step is going to be go into the rondelle, up into the purl, and up into this rondelle. Okay, and so now we're making this big box. So you're going to pick up, since we're alternating, so you pick up a purl, rondelle, purl, and a rondelle. If I can just find, there it is. And I'm just going to push those away from the needle and go through this purl, back through this rondelle again, purl, and rondelle. So technically, guys, we are doing right angle weave here. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. I don't think I did. But this is just a little more sophisticated form of right angle weave. Okay, so do you guys think that didn't come out right. Do you think you can continue on your own now, or do I need to show you once more? I'll go ahead and show you once more. So now it's time to make a little box. So you're just going to go through the purl this time. And all we do is pick up 2 pearls. And we go through these 2 pearls. Okay, let's get you set up for the next part of this. So we're out of this purl. We go into the rondelle, then the purl, and this next rondelle up here. And I think you guys can figure out what to do next. You pick up, so we're coming out of a rondelle, so it's going to be a purl, a rondelle, purl, and rondelle. And so you go into a purl, rondelle, purl, rondelle. So as long as you know that you are alternating between purl and rondelle when you're making the big box, you should be able to do this. And there we have it. So let's get you set up for the next one. Now you know you just made a big box, so you're going to make a little box, so you just go through the purl. And so just continue until you get to the end. Okay, so here's my bracelet. So far, I've made the boxes on one side, and I'm coming out of this rondelle here. And what I'm going to do is make my way up the purl and the rondelle, and then the purl, tightening as I go. And I want to exit out of this purl at the end of our original row where we started. And what we're going to do is pick up 9 11-0 beads. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. And there's 9. Bring those down, and you're going to go back through the purl. Just like so, and we've created our loop for the clasp, and then we're going to go ahead and reinforce. Go through the purl. And then I'm going to go ahead and tie off because I'm really low on thread. So I'm going to go through this rondelle here. And I'm going to make a 1/2 inch knot. Actually, I probably don't want to, let's see, I don't want to do it on that side, but let's see, it should be okay. So you want to make a 1/2 inch knot, so you go around the purl and the rondelle. Go through the loop and just pull. So you guys know how to make 1/2 inch knots. So once you've done that, we're going to take the other needle back over here on this side, and you make your other set of boxes. So you're going to repeat exactly what we did. You're exiting out of this purl. You're going to make your way up until you're exiting out of this rondelle. And so let's go ahead and do that. Just going to turn the work. So I'm going to exiting out of the purl. I'm going to go through the rondelle, the purl, and the rondelle. Then up into this next purl and this rondelle here. Then just for this first one, you have to pick up 5 beads instead of 4. So it's going to be a pearl, a rondelle, pearl, a rondelle, and another pearl. And then what you're going to do is go through this rondelle here, and then up the pearl and back out of this rondelle. There you go. See, now you have symmetry. Go into just the pearl because you got to make the small box. Then you're just going to pick up 2 pearls and go back through just these 2 pearls. And I'm going to go ahead and help you get set up for this next step here. So it's going to be a rondelle, pearl, rondelle. And this time you're picking up 4 beads because now we do have our pearl here. So it's pearl, rondelle, pearl, and rondelle. And you go through the pearl, the rondelle, up through the pearl, and back out of our rondelle where the thread is exiting. Okay, so you guys know what to do now. Continue until we get towards the end here. Okay, my fellow beaders, so here is our completed piece. It's a really simple piece. Probably looks more complicated, or I don't know, it's simple and not that complicated looking. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and add my jump rings and my clasp. So take your jump ring, you're going to go move one side towards you and the other side away from you. That's how you open it. I'm going to put my clasp, feed it through, then feed it through the loop here. Make sure I have a good grip there, and now bring them back towards each other. Then you do the same thing on the side. Move one away from you and one towards you, one side. Feed it through the loop. And bring them towards you, or towards each other. Okay, there's our completed piece. Now, if you guys wanted to do more embellishment with seed beads, you can. Just keep in mind that you're going to have some bunching issues because of the way the spacing is done. So right now, it's perfectly spaced and it lays completely flat. If you start adding seed beads, especially on the outer sides, you'll have to be very careful that you're not going to cause any bunching because it's not going to lay flat. Anyway, well, I hope you guys like this tutorial, and I will see you in the next one.